Maybe Brad Holmes is smarter than all of us.
Maybe.
Because and Dan Campbell, maybe they saw something in Derek Barnes.
Yeah.
They know Lee McNeil's coming back. They know that Kelvin Shepard can find ways to dial up pressure than you and I and everybody else were looking at and saying, sorry, if you don't get Trey Hendrickson, it's not going to work. If you don't make a move and go get Max Crosby, it's not going to work. We've got to do something. Please find me Zadarius Smith. Oops, he's been absent for 2 weeks. Maybe they did know.
Yeah.
Maybe they were that smart about it. Now, I still would feel a lot more comfortable with some of the depth. And now you look at the cornerback position, you could say the same thing. But it's interesting how a lot of these guys have really elevated their play from a year ago.
100%. And look, two things can be true. Just talking about the defensive side of things, yes, they've elevated their play. They're playing a lot better than they played in week 1, week 2. Maybe you're starting to see some guys show up. And I think that was Aaron Glenn's conversation with Dan Campbell as well as Brad Holmes when he was leaving. Shep's ready. Shep's the guy. I guarantee this is a conversation they had. This is how it happens when they promote from within. The guy before who is Shep's mentor, look, he's ready. He's dialed in. He's going to be all right. So when Kelvin comes in and he has the conversation, now he's the DC, we're fine. We don't need to go out and make moves. I know what I have. I know how I'm going to utilize it. That's got to be where they feel comfortable. Yeah. It's not Brad Holmes saying, I spent enough money, or I put the right pieces there. It's not Dan Campbell like, this is directly related to Kelvin Shepard, and you saw that on display last week. Getting back to how you beat teams, it's how they are beating teams. It's how the Cleveland Brown game looked. It's how the Baltimore Raven game looked. It's how that Chicago Bears team looked. Chicago's a bear team. The Bears are a bad team. They got beat up on. Baltimore's supposed to be a good team, but they have holes. Guess what? Found those holes, exposed and dominated them. The Cleveland Browns, really good defensive line, not much on the offense. Don't get brought into a dogfight. They didn't get brought into a dogfight. Right. Pun intended on that one. So it's just liking the way they are playing and that defensive line and that defense as a whole. It's the reason why I went back and found them in my fantasy, and they're my fantasy defense.
Yeah, I love what Kelvin Shepard has done. I love what John Morton has done. I mean, and I think you got to give Dan Campbell a lot of credit because the conversation, like you said, with Aaron Glenn, and to say, you know what, I do trust Aaron Glenn's suggestion because Aaron Glenn could have brought him. Yeah. He could have brought him to be the DC. Okay, and what did Dan Campbell do? I'm elevating him and go outside the organization or bring a guy back into the organization, if you will. John Morton, there was no panic on this franchise. We all panicked. And I say we collectively for, as Braylon says, effect. Everybody panicked after the Green Bay game. I don't see the creativity in their offense. I'm worried about their leaky defense. The coordinators are it's going to take a long time for them to catch up. Figure out the cliche, insert it. Everybody said it. You know what? Everybody was wrong. Okay? At least for now.
Yeah.
Everybody was wrong. The offense looks as good now as it ever looked under Ben Johnson, and the defense looks as good now as it ever did under Aaron Glenn. And by the way, in certain areas, they're playing shorthanded, and they're still getting it done. So it's a really good feeling. We're going to talk more about that here on the Braylon Edwards Show.
You talk about numbers, Shep. I got some numbers for you.
Feed me. I love numbers.
All right, here's some numbers. They talked about the offensive coordinators, the defensive coordinators are leaving, the sky is falling, etc. Now, I admit after game 1, I did not like what I saw. I didn't panic, but I didn't like it. And if the Bears game had been different, then the sky maybe could have fallen. But here we are. Last year, after 4 games, let's do the quarterly report. Offensive points for the Detroit Lions last year, the greatest team in Lion history offensively, point-wise, statistically. 104 points after 4 games. This season, 137. That's including that stinker in game 1. That's defensively, right. Aaron Glenn, he's leaving. We won't be able to do much better than that. Kelvin Shepard, I don't know. Does he have the same cachet? Last year, they gave up 82 points on defense through 4 games. This one, 45, I think. 75. 85, I'm off by 1. So they gave up 3 more points on that one. Yeah, sorry about that. Jared Goff last year, what would he be without Ben Johnson?
Right.
Well, here's Jared Goff last year. 1,015 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions at this point last year. This year, he's 929. He's 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Amon-Ra St. Brown started off bad, 13 yards in game 1. After 4 games, he was 252, 2 touchdowns, and 27 catches. This year, he's 27 catches, 302 yards. But, oh, by the way, 6 touchdowns to add to the mix. The numbers, as they say, the math is mathing for this 2025 Detroit Lions?
Amon-Ra St. Brown is the first wide receiver to produce at least 25 touchdowns, or 25 receptions, 300 receiving yards, 6 receiving TDs through his first 4 games since your favorite guy, Randy Moss, in 2007. Our thanks to Tim Twentyman, who does a great job as the Lions reporter for DetroitLions.com, came out with that. You mentioned the points for, which is really big. Detroit has scored more points than anybody else in the National Football League. When we think of the Buffalo Bills,
and just think about the first game. That's
know.
including the
I
first
know
game.
That's nuts.
13 points.
Yeah, and the last 2 weeks they've done it against what is traditionally, it's being a little bit more exposed, Baltimore. Traditionally defensive-oriented teams.
Yeah.
But Detroit, 137 points, leads the NFL. The Bills are second in that regard, 133. Detroit is on top of just the points, because I think that's the sexy part, and that's what we all gravitate to, and I understand why.
Yeah.
Okay? Detroit is a plus 48 in scoring differential. The best in the National Football League. That tells you you're getting it done on both sides of the ball. 88 points allowed. Now, the Packers have allowed 84.
Yeah.
Okay? That's pretty impressive. And the Vikings have allowed only 80. But still, the number, very strong so far.
So strong, and it's also, too, you leave plays out there. You know, what did Jared Goff say after the Chicago Bears game? They scored 52, but in a polite way, he said, we probably left 2 touchdowns on the board, and he's absolutely right. Look at the points that were left up, or look at the output that was left out yesterday. How many players were missed? Most notably by you-know-who, Jamison Williams, who. What's your thoughts on Jama? Just in yesterday, the reaction to him, the conversation, because I got a thought, too.
Well, can you be more specific on the reaction to
Well,
him?
in terms of J-Mo, did he have a bad game yesterday? Was it just an okay game yesterday? Or is it something that's alarming you into what he's doing? Anything about it?
Yeah, it's
make
not
you feel
alarming.
any type of way?
It's not alarming to me. I think they're trying their best. Look, what do we all say about Detroit's wide receivers? Amon-Ra St. Brown, you said it before anybody. I saw it trending a lot on social media yesterday. You said it. He's arguably the best athlete, best wide receiver.
Yeah,
the best wide receiver in football. Not just because he plays for the Lions. You don't care. Yeah. How he runs his routes, that's how I always look at. Catches everything with his hands. He's dependable. He's a good blocker downfield, period. You look at Isaac Tesla, big body, should be in the red zone. You said that in week 1. Jamison Williams is your vertical guy.
Right.
They're trying to get him the football downfield. I don't blame them for doing that.
Yes.
I can't tell if he's running the correct routes. You would know this better than I would. Is he running them as strongly as he should? If he's not, you'd be saying something about it. I'm not worried about it. They gave him a cushion where he feels really comfortable in his space, and he's going to be a Lion for a while. I think he's okay.
Yeah. Okay, here's my thoughts on it. I start out by saying, as a former wide receiver in the NFL, drops happen. They are part of the job. You're going to drop some passes. Some drop more than others. Some don't drop that many. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Larry Fitzgerald, you're going to be counting a lot of games in between how many drops they have. Some people, a little bit more frequency. Brandon Marshall, he was dropping 3-4 a game. My issue is it's a different conversation now. There's 2 things that kind of bother me. One, Jamison Williams, for the 4 or 5 years that he's been here, it seems like a struggle to get him implemented. Like, it seems like a struggle. Even last year with Ben Johnson, like, it just felt like forced plays. Like, oh, well, here, let's get him involved. Let's throw him a reverse.
I see.
Oh, here's an open opportunity. We're up 30, 40 points. Let's do a little play action, take it out of Dave Montgomery, and then throw it down the field. And he's eating he's having yards. He's having success. But it just never seems like it's fluid. It never seems comfortable for him, and it never seems comfortable for the offensive coordinator. I would give Johnny Morton more credit, because at least he's trying to get him implemented early in games. But to throw him in the ball early on in games, but then there's nothing in the second half. That was early on in the season. Now, yesterday, they did a job trying to get him the ball. They did a good job of trying.
He was targeted more than anybody else, by the way. You know, people look at Amon-Ra St. Brown and for good reason.
They did
nobody was targeted more outside of Jerry Jeudy.
They did a great job of trying to get him the ball yesterday, targeting him. He had some drops. And look, you got to catch the ball. The one on the left sideline where he starts here, he looks over here, that's a tough catch. Like, that is an absolutely tough catch. Like, when you have to start here, Your mind is telling yourself, ball's coming here, I'm set up everywhere, boom, ball's going to drop here, it falls like this. To immediately then have to say, shoot, it's on the opposite side. Reset your brain to start. It's a tough catch.
Yeah.
When you make $28.3 million, you got to start making that catch.
So should he have made that catch?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's different conversations. And if that's not one that you think he should make because you want to give him a little cushion, remember, I'm the one that lobbied for J-Mo. When everybody was out there, get rid of him, do this, send him this way. He's immature. He's this. Always had his back. I deserve this conversation. The dime that Jared Goff threw him on the right side, where he's running towards the right, that's a dream.
Yeah.
Like, that's a dream. You asked to be led and to be thrown right here. So whatever is going on with J-Mo, you're in a different tax bracket right now. It has to be better. It has to be consistent.
Do you consider him a guy who is sure-handed?
No.
Okay.
And we knew that coming in because he's a chess catcher. He's a chess catcher. Hands was a big thing for him in year one. Like, when he came in December of 2022, we saw it right away. Like, after the touchdown against the Jets, he had some drops. You're like, okay, this will be a thing that we'll work on. He's gotten much better. But when you decide, and this is on the Lions too, this isn't just him. When you decide you're going to pay $28 million to a wide receiver, when you decide that's the trigger you're going to pull, then you better know. Because right now it seems like they're trying to figure out a way to get their $30 million receiver almost involved with offensive game plan. And to me, that doesn't seem like the right way. I know how to use J-Mo. This thing works. Now we pay $30 million.
What's the difference then? Help me. How would it be different? You're viewing him if them forcing. Maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, and stop me if I am or if I'm parsing words. Forcing to get him involved compared to just having him generically involved like they do with Amon-Ra St. Brown. We never say that about Amon-Ra St. Brown. After week one, we wanted them to get him more involved. Tell me the difference of those two things.
It just doesn't feel smooth, and it hasn't felt smooth. It should, they give the ball to Amon-Ra a lot, but it doesn't feel like it's forced. It feels like it's on time. If you want to switch teams to make it make more sense, Devontae Smith is the number 2 in Philly. Mm-hmm. Now, Devontae Smith is a more established number 2, but he's a number 2 wide receiver. He acts like a number 2 wide receiver. The way the system is, Philly sucks right now, but when they get him the ball, you feel it. Like, it feels organic into a certain state. Jordan Addison, look at him yesterday.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison,
first game of the year. Yeah.
And it's his first game of the year, and they already knew how to get him going, get him started.
So how would you use him? You said, by the way, Philly sucks right now. You're talking about their offense?
Well, I'm just talking about in terms of down the field.
I got you.
Down the field. A.J. Brown's complaining. He's quoting the Bible again. Yeah, Devontae Smith's on my fantasy team, so I'm a little pissed about that.
A.J. Brown's on mine. I'm even more pissed. So tell me how you would incorporate Jameson Williams into making it look more fluid and more natural in their offense.
Also, too, it sucks when you have a play like when he's wide open, streaking on the post route, he gets a little hand. There's some pressure for Myles Garrett and the defensive line. Jared doesn't have that time to get down the field. He catches that, and now we're like, oh, well, maybe. I give Johnny Morton credit for trying to get J-Mo more involved. He's done way more than Ben Johnson did with this wide receiver. I just thought it would feel more organic by week 4. I just feel like it would.
Okay.
Because if not,
it's a feel thing. You're a feel guy. You've said that for a long time. This is a feel thing.
Because the way this feels right now is I want to see number 18 a little bit more. I'm not saying bench J-Mo. This isn't a Terrion Arnold and Meek Robinson thing, but I want to see what Isaac Tesla can do. Because clearly you haven't necessarily figured out what J-Mo is to the offense, so you might as well start figuring out what 18 is at the same time.
Would you want Williams more involved in near the goal line in red zone situations, or do you think they're trying to get him downfield and that's the appropriate action right now?
I think that I think Johnny Mo should pay attention to what Andy Reid is doing with Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
However Xavier Worthy is being used by Chiefs is how you're going to use J-Mo.
Especially
because
yesterday.
It works.
Especially yesterday.
And did it feel rushed when they brought him in here?
No, but I don't study them, I don't look at them as with that poignant eye as much as I do with the Lions.